Welcome to the latest edition of NewsMakers. This week, we attend Arlington's annual Volunteer Appreciation Celebration. The number of hours donated by volunteers and the resultant cost savings to the taxpayers is considerable, as County Board Chair Mary Hynes explains.
There are more than 5,000 individuals, men, women, and children, who volunteer annually in Arlington County government programs, and nearly 400,000 hours of volunteer service were given over the last year. The monetary value of that is $7.5 million each year. It's a lot. It's more than a penny on the tax rate. I just happen to know that right now.
Keynote speaker Robert Egger of D.C. Central Kitchen talked about the changes brought about by a generation introduced to public service as part of their educational curriculum.
But I'm an observer. I love watching and kind of anticipating things. And one of the things I'm most intrigued with is a while ago, we started asking an entire generation of young people to do service. You know, literally, the 3 high schools in this county, and all the public schools. To a certain extent, we've raised an entire generation doing service. You know, and I kind of wondered, what does it look like? You know, what does it look like? What does a place look like after that? You know, it's funny, we've never really thought about it as a country. What does it mean to ask an entire generation to grow up? And I got to tell you, I think it looks like Arlington, Virginia. That's what I'm thinking. There's just something about this county that it exudes, even though it takes on a lot of the trappings of a big city, man, it just feels like a tight local community. It just feels like people walk down the street and smile at you here. And a lot of it is because I just think that there's a culture that I hope is something that will be mirrored throughout America. I mean, I'll be honest with you, as I mentioned earlier, this is the biggest, this generation coming up. You know, there's literally 90 million people under 25 in America right now. 90 million young people. The most diverse generation ever in the history of America. The most technologically advanced, but the only generation raised doing service. And it's going to be so interesting to watch, to see how this generation makes manifest what they learned working in nonprofits all these years, or making the county a cleaner, safer place to work, raise a family.
We spoke to a few of the awardees and asked them about the rewards of volunteerism.
We have a school which we visit regularly and a grade level that we visit regularly. And so on a day that's appointed by the staff, we go and tell stories. And the welcome we get from the students is just heartwarming. You can go in weary, bone weary, and you come out just infused with energy. It's an absolutely wonderful experience.
I had a friend who's actually in the department I'm at, and he used to be my roommate, so he knows the kind of mentality I am and how my work ethic, and he said, "You will like this. Do it, and you won't regret it." As soon as I started training with going through the program, he wasn't lying. It was the best experience I've ever had in my life. So there's nothing like it. I'm training for a job pretty much, and it was the best job I know of.
Homelessness in a wonderful place like Arlington is kind of a hard issue to chew on, but it's real. I mean, I have seen people sleeping in bus stations and sleeping in alleyways and sleeping on the steps of the churches that I serve. So when I heard about the 100 Homes campaign coming to Arlington, I thought there's not going to be another opportunity to be involved at this level. And as with most service opportunities, I may have given up 3 nights of sleep in my life, which is nothing. You know, I can sleep a lot the rest of my life. What I got back changed me, formed me. I met neighbors that I didn't know I had.
So those are our highlighted volunteers. There are many, many, many stories in this room today of other experiences and other people who've stepped up to the plate, brought their energy and their ideas and their creativity to making Arlington this great place. And as I said, we are so very grateful that you each decided to get involved in this way.
That's it. Please join us next time for a new edition of NewsMakers.